All right, everyone, you know that massive infrastructure bill that Beijing Biden wanted to pass? Well, it looks like it's dead, at least for a while. They'll revive it at some point, but Beijing Biden has ended talks with the Republicans with regards to the infrastructure bill. See, the problem is unless you end the filibuster, you're going to need multiple Republicans in the Senate to vote for it. The filibuster's not going to end. You've now got 3 Democratic senators, by the way. I can't remember the name. There was one of the senators from Nevada came out in opposition to the idea of ending the filibuster. So that makes 3. Manchin, Sinema, and some Nevada chick. Again, I can't remember the name. The filibuster stays, at least through the midterms. And then you would need a Democratic blue wave in the midterms in order to get rid of it. That's not going to happen. At best, the Democrats will keep a 50-50 in the Senate. I think they will lose it in the midterms. So the filibuster stays. The infrastructure bill, by and large, the funding in there cannot be appropriated without the will of the Senate. You can use budget reconciliation in some cases for certain things. The problem is that you're not going to actually be able to insert them. And then, of course, if you go too far, you'll have Dem holdouts. Again, Manchin, Sinema, and others exist. So Beijing Biden's main signature legislation, this is his equivalent of Obamacare, to be clear. This particular legislation is the big kahuna of his first term. It has failed. Beijing Biden has completely goddamn failed. Everything that he has done has failed. He's failed on the economy. He's failed on foreign policy. Did you see how much of an embarrassment Kamala was over in Guatemala? She got called out to her face by the Guatemalan president and literally echoed what Trump was saying in the prior years on immigration. And people have started to notice that. Despite a wall of fawning adoration by the legacy media, despite 24/7 propaganda, inflation will just be transitory. Biden didn't fail in Afghanistan. He's doing the right thing. A handful of security experts agree. Despite 24/7 propaganda, he's still managing to get egg on his face. And now his signature legislation, this would be like if Trump, during his 4 years, hadn't built any wall. This is like if the initial buy-off of the wall that he managed to get appropriated in 2017, I think it was. It's still fairly early. The initial appropriation for the initial expansion down in southern Texas, this would be if that got blocked. This would be if Donald Trump, in the first months of his presidency, said, yeah, what about that ACA? Well, I'm not going to eliminate the mandate. And that's not on my priority list. Of course, Trump did get egg on his face at the time with regards to that. He wanted to get rid of it entirely. It's still being embattled, I believe, possibly before SCOTUS because of Texas, the Fifth Circuit, if I remember correctly. It's not clear what will happen with that or how long it'll take. The Republicans repeatedly, you had 3 or 4 different Republicans sponsor different plans, including Rand Paul, and they all fell through. They couldn't get him passed. The Republicans obstructed themselves, which by and large nobody gives a shit at this point, but the mandate went bye-bye. This would be the equivalent of Trump failing to do that. This would be the equivalent of if Obama had... This is sort of like Obama with a Gitmo moment, or maybe shovel ready. By the way, the stimulation of the economy looks like shovel ready too. It's completely flatlined. 2 months in a row, hyperinflation and jobs reports well under expected. What hasn't Biden fucked up is my question. And who really seriously believes the push polling when the Hill comes out and says he's got 60% approval? Deviating by more than 20 points from a separate scattershot. We saw this during the election. I've already analyzed this. You've got 2 completely divergent groups of polls right now with regards to his approval. One that looks reasonable in a hyper-politicized climate with hyperinflation, the other one of which is obviously off in goddamn la-la land. Everything is fucked right now. To be clear, the nation is fucked. The economy is fucked. Our foreign policy is fucked. Joe Biden's mind is scrambled. He's got dementia. He's not even in charge. Jill Biden the other day, it was funny, echoes of Woodrow Wilson. Oh, Razorfist fucking loved that one because he talks about it every other day. Jill Biden sitting there doing paperwork and stuff, and it's like, oh, okay. I guess we know who dresses him in the morning, who determines what he's going to eat and what he's going to say. There's a cabal of people behind him that whisper into his ear in the literal sense, even when he's speaking on a teleprompter. Dude's out to lunch. So yeah, another big failure is your infrastructure. Yeah, you could have given actual relief if they had just passed a slimmed down bill that's actually infrastructure, that doesn't contain hundreds of billions in pork and kickbacks and bullshit coronatarian stuff that literally nobody cares about at this point. The epidemic is something on the back burner literally now because the election is over. Now, if they had just been willing to slim down the bill, they could have passed it easily. Between the neolibs and the GOP, they could have hammered out a deal, but Biden got tired of bothering to try. He's being told by the far, he's been castigated by the far left. I almost feel sorry for him because it's not really his fault. Is harping on him daily. Oh my God, we need universal health care, universal pre-K, more gun control, trillions and trillions of dollars for whatever random shit that comes into our heads that they're trying to push into this bill, and they're wondering why the Republicans won't vote for it. And they keep trying to lambaste. It's funny. They hold private talks with Manchin in which you know that they're begging him and making him promises untold to get him to vote for ending the filibuster or whatever, or at least voting for the infrastructure bill so they can 50-50 it potentially, through budget reconciliation or whatever weird loopholes they envision tomorrow. And at the same time, he's getting crucified by the legacy media. When he goes into closed-door meetings, I can imagine being Manchin or Sinema right now. You go into a closed-door meeting with the Dem leadership. They're telling you that you're the best thing since apple pie. They'll give you everything that you want. You get out of the meeting and you turn on your computer, or these days your smartphone. I do the former because I'm more of a Luddite probably than Joe Manchin is, and he's in his 60s. You go online and Google yourself or something, and oh, I'm Hitler. No, I'm Satan. I'm obstructing everything. I'm a terrible, piss-poor person who should be primaried out of his position. Here's a list of 17 other Democrats that hate my guts and think that I should be challenged for my position. Can you imagine? It must be surreal. Capitol Hill, yeah, the swamp definitely came rushing back in recently. This is why we need to Grover Cleveland Trump back in there in 2024 if he's willing. That'd be funny. Punish him, have another round of punishment. They need discipline because they obviously have none. That's about all. Peace out.